Once upon a time, in a castle in a faraway land, there lived a king and a queen who had no child. Every day they prayed to God that they might be blessed with a beautiful baby boy or girl. Finally, their prayers were answered, and a beautiful baby girl was born. Her skin was as white as snow, so she was called Princess Snow White. Snow White grew by leaps and bounds. She became a lovely girl with long black hair. Thus Snow White passed many a happy day, until one day her beloved mother, the Queen, fell ill.
Darling Snow White, help your father the king. Please live with him and comfort him always.
Those were the Queen's last words.
Mother, no!
The King and Snow White were to pass many a sorrowful day. Eventually, however, the King married again. The new Queen, unfortunately, took excessive pride in her own beauty. In her room, the Queen had a grand mirror. Every day, without exception, she stood in front of this mirror and asked,
"Oh, mirror on the wall, if I were to ask you, who is the fairest of them all, what would you say?"
The answer, plain and short and true, O Queen, it's you. Hearing this, the Queen was supremely satisfied. Thus, many years went by. Snow White grew up to be an extraordinarily beautiful princess. One day, when the Queen asked her mirror the usual question, "O Queen, the fairest on earth by right."
Fairest on earth, go on.
"The fairest on earth by right is Snow White."
You say what? Snow White? More beautiful than I? You're mad.
No matter how often the Queen asked, the answer was the same.
No! What is happening? Ugh!
Furious, the Queen summoned a servant. She ordered him to kill Snow White and to cut off all her black hair as a souvenir.
We've gone so deep into the woods. How much farther now?
The servant simply could not bring himself to take the life of so charming a princess. He told her to flee, and thus, secretly, allowed her to escape. Go safely, princess. The further she walked into the dark, deserted woods, the more afraid the princess grew. Suddenly, she came across a cottage in a clearing. As she drew near, she found it to be strangely small. Inside, all the furnishings were simple, charming, and quite tiny. Exhausted, Snow White lay down across 3 of the beds and promptly fell into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, after a day spent mining precious stones, the 7 fairies who lived in the cottage returned home. Back inside, they found a human girl asleep on their beds. They were astonished. "Hello there. Excuse me, miss, but who are you?"
Oh my goodness, I must have fallen asleep. Are you the owners of this house? I apologize for coming in alone.
Please, young lady, think nothing of it. We'd like to know where you come from, though.
I am Princess Snow White. I have come from a castle far away, to which I may never return.
Why, you poor little creature.
Please stay here for as long as you like.
The next day, after the fairies left for work, Snow White baked them pies and cakes, and cleaned their house, and washed their clothes, and waited for their return. Back at the castle, the evil queen knew nothing of all this. The servant had brought back some black hair. The queen was vastly pleased.
Now I am truly the fairest of them all.
Though the queen did not realize it, the hair was not from the head of a princess, but from the tail of a horse. The queen went straight away to her grand mirror. The reply? "The fairest on earth by right is still Snow White."
What are you saying? Are you trying to tell me Snow White is not dead?
Princess Snow White still lives and breathes in a little cottage set amidst the trees.
That's terrible. Snow White is still alive?
Princess Snow White, very soon you shall draw your last breath.
The queen changed into an old apple seller. She would give Snow White a poisoned apple.
Who's there?
It's me, dearie, the old apple granny. I fell down and I think I sprained my ankle. Won't you let me come in?
The kind-hearted Snow White let her come into the cottage to rest.
There, that's much better. I'd like to give you this apple.
I've never seen such a red apple.
It's an especially delicious one. Go on, take a bite.
Almost as soon as she bit into the apple, Snow White collapsed. Poor Snow White. Her eyes remained shut. When the 7 fairies returned, they were shocked. Each in turn tried to talk to Snow White, but she was unable to respond. Before they knew it, the sky went dark, as if the very heavens were also sorrowing for Snow White. There was lightning, there was thunder, and a fierce rain fell, a horrific storm. The evil queen headed back to the castle. Struck by lightning, she fell off a cliff and died. Just then, the prince of a neighboring country lost his way in the woods.
Ah, a cottage. I shall ask for shelter from the rain.
When the prince entered the cottage, he realized that something strange was going on.
What's happened here?
While we were away, it appears that our beloved Princess Snow White has passed on.
But look, her cheeks, her lips. Does she not seem alive still? Smells of poison. But the princess scarcely bit into the apple.
Princess Snow White!
She's come back to life.
You see, the princess was merely sleeping.
A glorious new day dawned. The prince took Snow White to live with him in his castle. Their wedding was held immediately, and the prince and princess lived happily ever after.
Once upon a time, there lived a woman who loved flowers. One day, her most special flower bloomed. Inside was a very tiny little girl.
Oh, how cute! She must be a gift from God.
The woman named the little girl Thumbelina and decided to raise her as her own. Thumbelina was loved and well taken care of. She had a happy life. Then, one summer night,
What a cute little girl! She'll be a perfect bride for my son.
Thumbelina was kidnapped by a toad.
Croaky, I've brought you your bride.
Credit, 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 credit.
At the thought of marrying a toad, Thumbelina was so scared and lonely that all she could do was weep. Then some fish took pity on her and set her free. Saved by the fish, Thumbelina floated downstream.
Great Queen, I have brought a strange worker bee.
What's this? A thick waist, no wings? She doesn't even have a stinger.
Your Majesty, I am neither hornet, nor wasp, nor bee. I'm a girl. Hearing this,
Well, off with you to your own home then. Wasting my time like that when I'm so busy, honestly.
for tiny Thumbelina, even just walking over a grassy field is a big challenge. Thumbelina walked and walked until she could go no further.
What are you doing here? It gets cold at night, you'll get sick. You can warm up here, get some rest, and you'll feel better.
Thumbelina was rescued by a field mouse. By the time Thumbelina regained her health, autumn had come. So she decided to stay at Mrs. Field Mouse's house until spring. You poor thing, you're sick! Thumbelina nursed the swallow back to health. You must get well before the snow falls. That night, Mr. Mole, who lived nearby, came to Mrs. Field Mouse's house for a visit.
Why, hello there. Welcome, Mr. Mole. Mr. Mole is the richest fellow around here in the whole neighborhood.
how beautiful. Ah.
What on earth is wrong, Mr. Mole?
Nothing. See you later. Oh.
Digging holes everywhere.
The next day, the swallow was feeling a bit better.
Thank you, Thumbelina. All my friends are migrating.
Where will you go, Mr. Swallow? So the swallow told Thumbelina of faraway lands. When she got back home...
Oh, look at these presents from Mr. Mole. I got a worm. We've been invited to his house tomorrow.
What? The swallow was ready to migrate south.
Thanks to you, I'm all better. Why don't you come south with me?
But the field mouse had been kind to her, so Thumbelina couldn't leave her all alone.
I'll see you again next spring.
We're almost at Mr. Mole's.
It's so damp and creepy.
So what does that matter? He's rich.
Welcome. I've been expecting you.
Oh, what a great place you have here.
Make yourselves at home.
Uh-huh. Do you mean it? Thumbelina, he's asked you to marry him. I'm all for it, Mr. Mole. Just think, I'll have a rich relative.
As soon as he saw her, the mole fell in love with Thumbelina. On the way home...
What? Since when don't you like Mr. Mole?
If I marry the mole, I'll have to spend all my time underground. I can't say goodbye to the bright, warm sunshine.
Don't be picky. When spring comes, you will marry. It's all decided.
It was a cold winter. Mrs. Field Mouse was busy preparing for the wedding. I want spring to come soon, but... As Thumbelina fretted, spring arrived. Tomorrow was the wedding day. As Thumbelina wept,
I have returned.
Mr. Swallow, please take me away. The swallow took Thumbelina on its back and flew high into the sky. The swallow flew to the land of the flowers.
Where could that girl have gone?
Gone.
Lovely. This flower garden is just like I imagined.
This is the place for you.
Thank you, Mr. Swallow. My respects to Mrs. Field Mouse. I'm not alone anymore. The flower garden was filled with people just like Thumbelina. After that, her days were happy. Then one day, Thumbelina met a handsome flower prince. The first time he saw her, the prince fell in love and proposed to her. The celebrated couple had a gorgeous wedding. And Thumbelina lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, a young boy named Jack lived with his mother in the English countryside. Jack and his mother had no money. They kept a cow which gave them milk, but as the cow grew older, it stopped producing milk.
have no choice but to sell the cow for cash.
Finally, Jack agreed to sell the cow. They planned to use the money from the sale to buy food.
Jack, get the highest price you can,
said his mother. So Jack set out on foot leading the cow. But on his way, he met a strange old man. The strange old man spoke to him.
Jack, if you want to sell that cow, why not exchange it for my beans instead?
No, I have to sell it in exchange for money to buy food,
said Jack. But the strange old man replied,
But these beans of mine are no ordinary beans. Plant them in your garden and they will grow high, high, up into the sky.
Really? Fantastic! I will exchange my cow for them.
So Jack exchanged his cow for 5 beans. But when he returned home, his mother was furious.
You exchanged our precious cow for these beans? Beans like these aren't even good to eat. Ah!
Jack's mother was so angry, she threw the beans out of the window. That night, there was nothing to eat.
I am so hungry,
said Jack as he went to bed supperless. The next morning, Jack awoke to find something.
Amazing! What's that? In our garden? A tree? No, an enormous beanstalk. That old stranger was telling the truth. It grew so huge overnight. It stretches up into the sky, into the clouds, even higher. This is great. I'm going to go and see what's above the clouds.
So Jack began to climb the enormous beanstalk. He climbed up and up, higher and higher. Finally, he reached a realm above the clouds.
Fantastic! I'm here above the clouds. Hey, that's a mansion over there.
Jack was facing a mansion, a huge and imposing mansion made of stone. But who could possibly live there? At the huge front door stood a large woman.
Please, ma'am, could you give me something to eat?
Little boy, what are you doing here? This is the mansion of a fearsome, child-eating giant. He just loves to make sandwiches out of little boys like you. If you don't run along quick, he'll eat you up.
When the terrified Jack tried to flee, he heard the earth-shaking thuds of the giant's heavy feet. It was time for the giant's breakfast. The giant began with 3 calves, which he gobbled up in one mouthful. Then he grabbed his magic hen, which laid golden eggs. The giant ate a whole basket full of fresh golden eggs.
What a mess! If I don't get out of here, I'll be eaten next,
said Jack as he tried to flee. But the large woman said,
After he eats breakfast, the giant always takes a nap. You can leave then.
Just as the large woman had predicted, the giant soon fell asleep and began snoring like a typhoon.
Perfect! Here we go!
Jack grabbed the magic hen. Carrying it under one arm, he ran for his life. The hen sounded the alarm. That meant trouble. The noise woke the giant up.
I've got you now, you little brat. You're a tasty-looking morsel. I'll slap you between 2 slices of bread and chomp away.
Jack mustn't get caught. He ran for dear life. Jack was light and nimble. He slid down the beanstalk and reached home safely.
But mark my words, next time I'll gobble you up head first.
The giant was mortified. Back home, Jack showed his mother the hen.
This is a great treasure,
said Jack's delighted mother. All they had to do was say, lay, and the hen laid a golden egg. They sowed the eggs and lived well. But Jack got it into his head to visit the giant's mansion once again and to bring back an even greater treasure.
It's scary, but I want to go see again.
The next morning, Jack again climbed the beanstalk, high, high above the clouds. Then he crept into the giant's mansion. Once again, there was the large woman.
My, the same little boy. What are you doing here again? If the giant catches you this time, he really will gobble you up head first.
Just then, once again, the giant's thundering footsteps shook the earth. Trembling with fear, Jack ran ahead behind the kitchen stove.
Time for my breakfast. Bring me my soup. The smell of a human child. There must be a child nearby.
Where is it? The giant had a fine sense of smell.
That's not possible. Just your fancy. I'm sure of it.
My fancy. Well, no matter. This morning I'll make do with 6 calves.
The giant made short work of the 6 calves. Then he called out to a strange-looking harp. When the giant cried, "Sing!" to the strange golden harp, she began to sing gloriously. In fact, she sang so beautifully, the giant began to feel drowsy and finally fell fast asleep. Once asleep, the giant began to snore loudly.
Now!
Dashing from his hiding place under the stove, Jack grabbed the magical golden harp and ran off with it. But as he neared the front gate,
Master! Master! Help me! Help!
the harp screamed so loudly it woke the giant up.
So you've come back. Today I'll gulp you down with my soup.
The giant, his face scarlet with anger, gave chase. This child-eating giant was truly a monster. His one step was equal to a dozen of Jack's. In no time at all, he was catching up. Still, Jack reached the beanstalk and hurried down. But this time, the giant started climbing down too.
Stop, you brat! I'm going to eat you all!
Jack finally made it back home, the giant in hot pursuit. Jack's mother, frantic, fetched Jack an axe from the shed. Jack used the axe to chop down the beanstalk. The giant crashed out of the sky and into the earth.
Oh.
Jack and his mother exhibited the hen that laid the golden eggs and the strange and magical harp. And so they lived happily in their country home.
Long ago in London, there lived a family called the Darlings. There was Mr. and Mrs. Darling, their daughter Wendy, and her younger brothers John and Michael, and their dog Nana. None of the children wanted to grow up. They all wanted to remain children forever. One Friday evening, the parents went off to a party at number 27. The children stayed at home with Nana as guard dog. Their mother wore a gorgeous dress and fine jewelry. Their father was fashionable in his bow tie.
Wendy, we're counting on you now.
Okay.
Their mother and father left for the party.
The stars are so exciting. Will Peter Pan visit us tonight?
Peter Pan was a little boy who lived in Neverland, and he could fly. John, Michael, and Wendy were looking at the starry sky when...
Wow!
It was Peter Pan, and with him, shining brighter than the stars, his fairy friend Tinkerbell.
Hey! Give me back my shadow!
Nana, gripping Peter's shadow in its teeth, ran back into the room, Peter in pursuit. Peter reclaimed his shadow.
Come! We go to the country of dreams, Neverland.
And so, with Peter Pan showing them how to fly, Wendy and her brothers set off from a London window into the stars. If you think of something fun, you can fly. In no time, the three children were soaring above the clouds.
Wow! This is high! We're so high!
Still in their pajamas, the children flew high into the sky. Who knows how long they flew? In the middle of a vast blue ocean, a tiny island appeared.
Look, anchored in the inlet, there, a pirate ship. Oh no! It's Captain Hook! They're on deck.
Captain Hook's attire was as splendid as a king's, and with his pipe in his mouth and his aristocratic airs, he cut an impressive figure. But he was a cruel pirate, the fiercest in the Caribbean, and the most feared. His steel hook was handy for defeating enemies. It was Peter Pan who had ripped that hand off. Now Captain Hook lived only for revenge on Peter Pan.
That Peter Pan dares to return to this island?
As Captain Hook considered how to defeat Peter Pan, he polished his fearsome steel hook. Meanwhile, Wendy and her brothers had arrived at Peter Pan's house in the interior of the island. It was carved out of a tree, like a house in a fairy tale. Here lived Peter Pan with a group of lost children. The children all wanted a mother.
Please be our mother.
Oh, all right.
As long as you live in Neverland, you'll always be a child. On this island, there's no end of fun. We have pirates and Indians, too.
Meaning lots of adventure!
All right. First off, we go to the Lake of the 100 Mermaids. But be careful. Don't let them pull you into the water.
They left on a moonlit night. Gorgeous mermaids were at the sparkling lake, combing their hair.
Well, there they are. Mermaids galore sitting on those rocks. And they're all my friends. I'll introduce you.
While they were all Peter's friends, Wendy was a stranger to them.
Hey!
So they splashed her and teased her. Just then, Peter noticed something.
Hey, that's Tiger Lily from the Pickaninny tribe. This is bad. They're taking her to Captain Hook. I've got to help Lily.
Peter sent word he would fight Captain Hook. Their hour of battle arrived. Captain Hook had lured Peter Pan into a trap. When the duel was about to begin, a crocodile that had swallowed a watch now approached, smelling blood. From its stomach could be heard tick-tock. The crocodile wanted nothing better than to eat Captain Hook.
Curses! It's a crocodile! I'll be eaten! The duel is postponed!
It was Captain Hook's weak point. So Peter Pan was able to release Tiger Lily.
That cursed Peter Pan! I'll teach him to underestimate Captain Hook! So, this time we go to find Peter Pan's hideaway. We'll get Wendy and those kids. All right, me hearties? No blunders now! Go!
That night, Peter Pan was invited to a party held by the Picknannies. Tiger Lily's father took a liking to the valiant Peter Pan.
Peter, how did you like to marry Lily and become my heir?
Wendy overheard and grew sad. She decided to return home to London.
Boys, tomorrow let's go home.
Putting the children to bed, Wendy sang lullabies in a beautiful voice, just like her mother. They slumbered as in a trance. But then... Hook and the pirates pounced upon the children and bound them with ropes, then carried them off to their pirate ship. It was Tinker Bell who had told Captain Hook the whereabouts of the treehouse, because she was jealous of Wendy. Peter, who knew nothing of all this, was shocked when he came back home.
This is Hook's doing. I've had just about enough of him.
Peter leapt out of the forest in a single bound and flew straight for the pirate ship. At the ship, Captain Hook was already forcing Wendy and the children to walk the gangplank to a watery grave. In the water, a hungry crocodile awaited them.
So, who wants to go first? Wendy, how about you?
Just as Captain Hook was about to push her overboard,
Stop!
Peter Pan arrived. Peter Pan and Captain Hook began to fight fiercely. Tinker Bell freed Wendy and the others from their ropes and helped them escape. Hook swung his sword and steel hooked viciously, but he couldn't hurt a little boy who could fly. Finally, when Captain Hook tried to shove Peter Pan into the water, but fell in himself, the hungry crocodile swallowed him in a single gulp.
Peter, Tinkerbell, thank you. We've had so much fun. But now we have to go home.
Peter Pan, Wendy, and the boys set sail for London in the pirate ship. Later, when the boys were grown up, they remembered nothing of these marvelous adventures. Wendy alone would never forget them. This is a story from the Flanders area in Belgium. Surrounded by the beauty of nature and windmills was a cabin where there lived a young boy named Nello with golden hair and an old man, Das. Nello's parents died when he was small, and old man Das brought him into his home to stay. Every day they carried milk to the city of Antwerp, 5 kilometers away. They, however hard they worked, they stayed poor, with only milk and bread. One such day they found a dog lying in the grass.
Let's take him home and take care of him.
Kind old man Das and Nello gave milk and bread to the dog and put him on soft hay. The dog's name was Patrasha. His original owner was a mean hardware dealer who made Patrasha pull a heavy wagon for his business. The dealer whipped Patrasha and kicked him hard. When he could no longer move, he was left by the road. Thanks to the care from Nello and Das, Patrasha became healthy again. To show his gratitude, Patrasha helped pull the milk wagon for Nello and Das. But the happy days passed quickly, and old man Das eventually became sick.
Grandpa, don't worry. Patrasha will help me out.
From that time on, Nello and Patrasha carried the milk. Sometimes Nello would go into the church, but he would come out with a sigh. On those days, Nello would not play or talk. The church had many beautiful paintings displayed. Nello hoped to become a wonderful artist like Rubens. But his painting was behind a curtain and cost money to see.
If only I could see Rubens' painting.
Nello had a friend named Alice.
I want to be an artist like Rubens.
Alice was the only daughter of the village's richest man, Master Gogez.
Hey, Louis, stay away from him.
Master Gogez did not like Alice playing with the poor Nello.
People won't treat me like this if I'm a great artist.
All the children were invited to Alice's birthday party except Nello. Only Patrasha knew how sad Nello was. Then Nello became excited by the church notice board. On Christmas Eve in Antwerp, there would be a youth art contest with a cash prize. Nello painted every night after coming back from his work. The season changed to winter, and soon it began to snow.
Fire! Master Gogez burns on fire!
Luckily, the fire was put out by everyone's help.
How? Who? Someone started the fire, and it must be Nello. He's upset for losing his friends.
No, Nello had not started the fire. But the rumor spread from Master Gogez throughout the village. The people of the village began to stop asking Nello for milk.
Patrasha, don't worry. They'll see it wasn't me. They'll see after I become a great artist.
Nello worked hard at his painting. Christmas Eve was approaching. Nello brought his finished painting to the church.
It turned out good. Just wait till Christmas Eve. Yay! I'm home, Grandpa. I'll heat up some milk. I painted a great picture, and I'm going to win. Then we can celebrate a little for once. Grandpa, you're still asleep. Grandpa. Grandpa. Oh. Grandpa. Grandpa.
The kind old man who waited for Nello to come home from work every day was now gone.
do. If my painting doesn't win, we won't have any money to pay the landlord or to buy food.
Christmas Eve came at last. Through the morning snow, Nello went to the church with his heart beating quickly.
Oh, I'm sorry, Petrasha. I wasn't good enough.
Nello and Petrasha walked away dejected.
What is it, Petrasha? What did you find? It's Master Koges's wallet.
Alice's family was very worried about the money her father lost.
We've got to hurry and take this wallet to Master Koges.
Nello, sorry, I can't help you today. Something awful happened.
No, please. Petrasha found Master Koges's wallet.
Huh?
Petrasha, he hasn't eaten in so long. Take care of him for me. Please?
Nello said this and ran off through the snowstorm.
It's no use. I can't find the wallet. We are ruined.
Father, Nello found the wallet and gave it back. He saved us.
Huh? Nello? Him? He's the one who saved me?
Yes, Father. Nello has saved us all.
Oh, I said so many bad things about him and was cruel. I made him lose his friends and his reputation, too.
Look, Petrasha is gone.
Find them! Get everyone to help! Find Nello and Petrash!
With his dreams and hope gone, Nello went one last time to see the Rubens painting. In the freezing cold, they fell silent forever. It was Christmas Eve. Their spirits joined together and went high, high up into the night sky.
Once upon a time, in a little village in Italy, there lived a carpenter named Geppetto. Although he loved children, the old man had no child of his own, and so...
I'm done. Now I ought to name you. Pinocchio! Your name is Pinocchio!
Huh?
Hello, old man. Thank you so much for making me.
It just spoke.
When the wooden doll spoke, Geppetto was surprised and pleased.
Toot toot, snug a hug.
My son's a cute one.
Old Geppetto was overjoyed. Indeed, the two of them were so happy that night they could hardly get to sleep.
Play carefully, son.
Pinocchio frolicked about. He looked truly happy. One night, as Pinocchio lay sleeping, a cricket dropped by for a visit.
If you want to be a real boy, you have to go to school and study.
To school? Study? Oh man, I want to go to school!
Oh, well, good for you, Pinocchio.
Old Geppetto was very poor. He had no money, but he was a doting old man, and for Pinocchio's sake, he sold his coat to help raise enough money.
Here's money for your studies.
Yes, old man. I'm off. It's off to school I go.
On his way to school, Pinocchio heard something that sounded like fun.
Come one, come all, to the world's best marionette show! Come one, come all! Thank you!
Thus Pinocchio spent his precious money.
Come one, come all! Huh? Oh no! Look what a mess you've made!
The leader of the marionette company was simply furious.
Grr, grr, grr.
But then he heard that Pinocchio had spent the money intended for his schooling. The leader was moved to tears and forgave him.
My regards to old Geppetto.
The leader had given him 5 gold coins.
Looks like you're having fun.
Yes, I have 5 gold coins.
There's a way to make them multiply, you know.
Really? Really and truly?
If you plant your coins in this hole, a money tree will grow with plenty of coins for the plucking.
That's it, right?
But to make it grow faster, water it.
Just so.
I'll go draw some water.
Thus was Pinocchio tricked, and his money stolen.
You were too quick to believe your money could multiply.
As long as we get it back.
Pinocchio went in pursuit of the fox and the cat to try to recover his money. But the fox and the cat got the better of him and tied him up.
Why have you been tied up in such a place?
Pinocchio was embarrassed. At the same time, he also wanted her help, so he lied. When he did...
Did you really want to go to school?
Every time Pinocchio lied, his nose grew longer.
If you want to become a real child, you mustn't tell lies.
I'm sorry. I'll be a good boy from now on. I won't tell lies.
From now on, you must do what the old man tells you.
Yes. What a relief.
Pinocchio wanted to become a person so much, he went to school every single day. One day...
In Toyland, you can play all day long.
What should I do? It would be fun to play all the time. No, I'm going to study.
I'll go by myself.
Wait! I'm coming too!
Pinocchio couldn't stay put after all. He went out to play. Pinocchio was having so much fun, he forgot all about the old man, the goddess, and school. He just played. But Toyland had a dark side. Children who played all day long suddenly turned into an ass.
Oh!
When Pinocchio did not return home, Geppetto grew worried and decided to go out and look for him. Pinocchio had been sold to the circus.
You've been neglecting your studies. Very bad. From now on, you'll learn with the aid of this whip. Jump up there. Giddy up.
Pinocchio's legs were injured.
Up again. Ha! Get up, dumbass.
No matter how hard he was whipped, his legs hurt so much he couldn't perform.
We can't afford to keep a broken down ass. You're fish bait. Ha!
And he was pushed into the sea.
Ahoy! Help! Help! Help!
Pinocchio was swallowed up by a gigantic shark. Pinocchio wept, and something strange happened.
I've got my body back! Yay for me!
Is somebody there? If there is, answer me.
Oh, man!
That voice. Pinocchio!
Geppetto had searched and searched, and when he searched the sea, the giant shark had swallowed him too.
But fancy us meeting, trapped in the stomach of a shark.
It's okay. I have an idea.
Pinocchio's bitter experiences had made him clever.
If we make the shark sneeze, it will sneeze us out.
Very clever.
1, 2, 1, 2.
The plan worked.
Oh, man, I know I've been a bad boy, but I'll be a good boy from now on. I'm sorry.
Pinocchio sincerely regretted his past behavior, and when he did,
Once upon a time, there lived a miller and his 3 sons. No matter how hard they worked, they barely had enough to eat. Their only possessions were the mill, a donkey, and a cat. So, when the miller became sick and died, it was very easy for the 3 sons to divide up their inheritance. The oldest son got the mill. The second son got the donkey to carry the flour. The only thing left for the youngest son was the cat.
Darn it! Why do I get stuck with the cat? I can't work as a miller. I can't sell the cat's skin. It's just not fair.
Don't worry, Master. Just listen to me. Meow. Meow. Just leave it to me. Give me a sack and a good pair of boots. Then you'll see that things aren't really as bad as you might think. Meow. Meow.
The boy was shocked to hear the cat talk, but he always known that it was clever. Thinking that the cat probably had a good plan, he did as he was asked. Wearing his fine new boots, the cat slung his sack over his shoulder and walked on 2 legs into the forest. There were many rabbits living in the forest.
Here's what I'll do. I'll put some carrots in my sack and hide in the bushes. I'm sure to catch a rabbit. Meow. Now, I got him. I did it! What a catch! I've never seen such a big rabbit. Meow!
Delighted by his success, the cat made his way straight to the king's castle.
Ho ho! What a very fine rabbit!
This is a gift from the Marquis of Carabas. Meow! Meow!
Who's the Marquis of Carabas? Actually, there was no such person. It was just a name that the cat gave to his master.
Ho ho! How very fine! Ha 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 ha!
The next day, the cat went to a cornfield. Opening up his sack and hiding in the corn, he caught many birds as they came down to eat. With his full sack of birds, the cat went again to the king's castle.
Ho ho! This time you brought me some nice plump birds. Thank you very much. Please give my best regards to the Marquis of Carabas.
Stroking his beard, the king thanked the cat and gave him many gold coins. One day, the king decided to take his daughter, the princess, for a ride to the river in his carriage. The cat thought of another plan.
Master, please go quickly to the river. Meow. Please hurry and take your clothes off. Just one swim in the river will bring you happiness forever. Meow.
Full of doubt, the boy waded into the river. When the king's carriage approached, the cat called out in a loud voice.
Help! Help! The Marquis of Carabas is in trouble. He was swimming in the river, and a thief stole everything. His clothes, his shoes, everything. Please help us. Meow.
What? The Marquis of Carabas? Servant! Go quickly and fetch some fine clothing fit for him.
Clothed in such finery, the boy looked noble indeed. Both the king and the princess were entranced by him.
Excellent. Everything's going according to plan. Meow.
Whispered the cat to himself. My dear Marquis of Carabas, would you care to join us in our carriage?
Meow. Things are going great. Time for my next strategy.
The cat already had a new plan. Racing ahead of the king's carriage, the cat spoke to some farmers working in a wheat field.
Listen to me, everyone. The king will soon pass by. If he asks you who owns this wheat field, tell him it belongs to the Marquis of Carabas. Do this, and I'll give you some cheese in thanks.
Okay, you want us to say the Marquis of Carabas, right?
That's right. Thank you.
Running further ahead, the cat came to a ranch.
Listen to me, everyone. The king will soon pass by. If he asks you who owns this pasture, tell him it belongs to the Marquis of Carabas. I'll give you some delicious bread and thanks. Meow.
Just then, the king's carriage arrived at the wheat field.
Such a broad field of wheat. Tell me, who owns it?
Your Highness, it all belongs to the Marquis of Carabas.
My, a great field indeed. Who owns this land, my good man?
Your Highness, it all belongs to the Marquis of Carabas.
My, yours again I see, and a very fine pasture it is.
Thank you, sire. It is as you say.
The king was completely taken by the Marquis of Carabas.
Meow.
The cat raced ahead yet again. This time he went to the great castle of a man-eating ogre. The fearsome ogre had magical powers and was very wealthy. All of the fields and pastures the king had passed so far really belonged to him.
Halt! This is the Ogre King's castle. Why have you come here?
Well, I just thought I'd stop in and say hello. Meow.
What a funny little cat.
The cat used flattery to gain the ogre's favor.
Oh, mighty king. I hear you can transform yourself into any animal you wish. But surely you can't change into an elephant or a lion.
Nothing's too hard for me. Just watch.
That was wonderful. You are truly impressive. But what about a tiny mouse? Surely that would be impossible.
What? Nothing could be easier. Just watch.
Meow. Meow.
The cat jumped down from the ceiling. Meow, meow, snicker snack. He caught the mouse and swallowed it in one gulp.
My, sure are delicious. But there's no time to lose. The king will soon be here. Welcome, Your Highness. This castle belongs to the Marquis of Carabas. Meow, 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 meow.
Huh?
So, this castle is yours too. I've never seen such a fine one.
The king was impressed that the Marquis of Carabas showed no signs of arrogance despite his great castle. He felt great affection for the boy.
My dear Marquis, I wish to ask you a question. Would you marry my daughter?
And so, it was arranged for the youngest son to marry the princess. Of course, they lived happily ever after. And it was all thanks to our smart little friend, Puss in Boots.
See, I told you things weren't as bad as you thought. Meow.
There once lived a poor tailor named Mustafa in the great city of Chang'an. Mustafa worked very hard but remained poor. He could not even send his only son to school. Every day his son, Aladdin, played freely for hours and hours. Mustafa sent Aladdin away to learn how to be a merchant. But Aladdin never learned. Finally, after years of hard work and suffering, Mustafa became ill and died. Only after his father had died did Aladdin begin to understand.
I don't want to be selling water for the rest of my life.
One day, a famous magician named Afriki came from Morocco to search for a powerful magic lamp. An old book said the lamp was hidden near Chang'an. The book also said the lamp held a genie who granted wishes, but that only a young man named Aladdin could first go near the lamp.
Aladdin, I am your uncle. Come, I will give you this gold coin. My nephew, I need your help now.
Said Afriki, trying to trick Aladdin. Afriki wanted the magic lamp for himself. The next day, Afriki took Aladdin to a high hill. He started a fire with wood, then sprinkled magic powder and chanted.
Ah!
Suddenly, the earth opened to reveal a steel door.
Now listen carefully to what I say. Go down these stairs and pass through 3 rooms. You will find gold and treasure there. This I give to you. But most important is the old lamp in a balcony beyond these rooms. Bring the lamp to me.
Afriki said.
Deal! I will bring the lamp, but keep the treasure. Then my mother and I will be happy.
Afriki gave him a magic ring in case of trouble. Aladdin went down the stairs.
Wow!
Beyond the 3 rooms, he found a lamp at the center of the last balcony. Aladdin took the lamp and some treasure and began to climb the stairs. Afriki called out,
Give me the lamp! I must have it! Give it to me, boy!
Aladdin began to get worried.
What if he's lying to me? Let's test him and see.
Afriki soon gave up. He put a spell on the doors to lock in Aladdin
and went back to Morocco. Aladdin was left helpless in the dark, so he said a prayer. He accidentally rubbed the magic ring from a freaky. Suddenly...
Ah! Does Master call a god? At your service.
A small man came out of the ring.
Help! Get me out of here!
The god of the ring transported Aladdin to safety.
Hey, I can clean this lamp and sell it at the market for lots of food.
Aladdin started to polish the lamp with a cloth. Then...
Ha ha ha, my master! What is your wish?
A large genie with a beard came from the lamp in a cloud of smoke.
I am the genie of this lamp. I do as you command.
Aladdin fell over in surprise.
All right! Give me lots of food! Right away!
Aladdin tested the genie with this command, and sure enough...
No!
A feast appeared larger than Aladdin could ever imagine.
Wow! This is something!
Aladdin was thrilled. He commanded the genie to make treasures, and he began to sell them. One day, Aladdin saw the lovely Princess Badler. He fell in love at first sight and decided to make a special wish.
I want to marry the princess. Give me emeralds, sapphires, and rubies to take to the Sultan as a gift.
Aladdin went to the castle.
Sultan, please let me marry Princess Badler.
The jewels impressed the Sultan, but he would not let Aladdin marry the princess yet. The Sultan first demanded a mountain of pearls. Aladdin told the genie to conjure the pearls and went back to the castle.
Excellent, Aladdin. You have done as I say. The wedding is tomorrow.
Aladdin commanded the genie to create a beautiful castle decorated with jewels. Princess fell in love with Aladdin, and the two lived happily.
Amazing. Fine prince.
Everyone
So
talked about the new
generous.
palace,
Did you hear?
and Aladdin became known for helping the poor and the sick while thanking God. These stories reached Afriki, who was immediately jealous. He planned to take the lamp from Aladdin. Afriki visited the princess while Aladdin was away.
Princess, I hear this castle has a dirty lamp. Why not exchange it for this lamp I have brought?
The princess did not know the lamp was magic and traded it. Just as Afriki planned, he now had the lamp. He quickly used it.
Bring the princess and the palace to Morocco! The princess and palace are mine!
No!
Aladdin returned to find the castle and the princess gone. Aladdin called the god of the ring and commanded him to help. But the god only answered,
I'm just not powerful enough.
So Aladdin decided to fly with the god quickly to Morocco. They snuck into the castle at night.
Oh, Aladdin, please rescue me. Afriki wants to make me his wife.
The two joined hands and smiled, but they needed the lamp back right away. Aladdin poured sleeping powder into Afriki's wine. Then, while Afriki slept, Aladdin took back the magic lamp. He called forth the genie.
Take Afriki to a mountain far away.
where beasts will keep him from coming back. Then return to the palace to Chang'an.
Your wish is my command. So it shall be.
Sultan Afriki, the magician, took the princess to Morocco, but he has been punished, and I've brought her home.
Oh!
The Sultan was overjoyed. They celebrated with a banquet and lived happily ever after. Aladdin became the Sultan of Chang'an, and the princess was his queen.
Once upon a time, there lived a kind mother goat and her 7 little kids. One day, the mother goat had to go look for food in the forest, and the little goats had to stay home and wait.
The wolf has a scary growling voice and black hands and feet, so don't let him fool you.
The mother goat warned her kids.
Okay, I'll be back.
We'll be waiting.
As soon as the mother goat was gone, along came a hungry wolf to eat the 7 little goats.
Dun, 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 dun. It's your mother. Open up. I've brought you some presents. Come on already.
Wait, something's not right. Our mother's voice doesn't growl like that.
It's the wolf. Don't open the door.
Darn, just wait. I'll change my voice and fool them.
So the wolf ate some chalk to change his voice. Well, my throat feels smooth and my voice is perfect. I'll fool those little goats. Humming a little tune, the wolf went back to the little goat's house and knocked on the door. Dun, 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 dun. Knock, knock, it's your mother. Hurry up and open the door. The kids were fooled, and everyone thought this was their mother. But then 2 big black front paws appeared and the goat screamed. Oh!
Don't open it! Go away, bad wolf!
Darn, couldn't fool him.
I'll get you yet.
The wolf got an idea and went to the bakery. He took some flour and covered his paws, front and back, until they were snow white.
Now my paws are white. Just perfect. I'll fool those little goats now. Just perfect.
This time the wolf was sure of himself. He went to the goat's house, his mouth watering.
It's your mother. My hands are full. I've got lots of yummy snacks for you. Please hurry up and open the door.
Yippee! It's Mama! A pretty voice and white paws. Yep, no mistaking, that's Mama.
The kids were completely fooled. When they opened the door...
I'm gonna eat you all!
Oh no, it's not our mother!
The little goats all quickly ran and hid in the house. first little goat hid in the kitchen cabinet. The second little goat hid under a desk. The third little goat hid in the fireplace. The fourth little goat hid under the bed. The fifth little goat hid in a dresser drawer. The sixth little goat hid in behind the sofa.
There, where are they?
With his keen eyesight and good sense of smell, he quickly found the goats. The wolf was so hungry that he swallowed up the little goats one after the other until he had eaten 6 of them. The 7th little goat, who was the slowest of them all, had climbed into the clock and fallen fast asleep. The wolf forgot all about the 7th little goat. But since he had just eaten 6 little goats, he was quite full.
Oh, that was good. What tender, delicious little goats. I'm so full, now I'll go sleep.
Just then, the mother goat returned from the forest.
My cute little goats! It's Mother! I've got a bunch of yummy food!
The mother goat opened the door,
Uh-huh.
but there wasn't a sound from the little goats. Because, of course, 6 of the little goats were inside the wolf's stomach, and the 7th little goat was asleep in the clock. Just as the mother goat opened the door and went inside, the clock began to strike.
Oh, Mama. Oh, where is everybody?
The mother goat hugged the 7th little goat. Then the mother goat realized the wolf had eaten everybody else up.
Your brothers and sisters are all eaten up! Ah! Oh, what shall we do?
The 2 of them decided to go and look for the wolf. A swallow came and told them where to find him. There was the wolf, his stomach all big, fast asleep under a tree on the hill. His stomach was moving round, this way and that.
Oh, hooray! Everyone's still alive!
Mother Goat took a pair of scissors from a pocket in her apron and began to cut open the wolf's stomach. As she did so, the little goats came tumbling out.
My children, thank goodness you're all alive. Now go and bring some big stones. We're going to fill the wolf's stomach. Hurry!
Okay, Mama!
Now, I'll sew him up. Chick, 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 chick.
Soon the wolf's stomach was sewn up without leaving any marks.
This will do. Let's all go home.
So they all hurried home to see what Mother Goat had brought them. After a while, the wolf woke up.
Boy, I must have eaten too much. I go to the river and drink some water.
But the wolf's stomach was so heavy with stones, he could not run. He started to roll and tumbled all the way down the hill.
Help me! I can't swim! Ah!
The wolf rolled down the hill and plopped right into the river.
Ah! I can't swim! Help! Yikes! Help! I can't swim! Yikes! I can't swim!
The wolf thrashed about in the water, trying to swim, but sank to the bottom.
When Mother's not here, you must never open the door, no matter what.
When Mother's not here, we'll never open the door again.
And Mother Goat gave each of them a wonderful present and a tender kiss. The end.